Take one, Mark. Hello and welcome back to Vendor Besties.
Hello.
Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers.
Let's talk about the difference between wedding pricing and event pricing.
It's a scam.
It's a tariff.
It's all a scam.
You guys are
should be
charging me
tariffed.
more.
Okay, so I'm going to do a real quick yes or no. Don't go into the whys, just a yes or no. Do you charge differently for a wedding versus not a wedding? Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you charge differently?
Yeah.
Do you charge differently?
Yes.
I do not. So now we're going to talk about why that is. And I will defend myself first since I clearly need to. A thing that I do differently than what they do, I think, is that my pricing for event planning and management is based on headcount. But I charge the same base price for a 300-person event of any kind. The base price starts the same. And then I ask the questions for what additional labor is having 300 people going to add on to this. But my base price for 300 people, whether it's a wedding or a birthday party, it starts at the same place.
But here's a distinction. You said my base price. My base pricing is the same regardless of who walks in my door. And that's on my website. Base pricing, super transparent. My variance is 100% in the ad charge. And I will add more to that. But that's an interesting distinction because I wouldn't have said I charge the same.
But you actually do.
And then just base it off that base menu.
Yeah, I was like my little snooty response. Like, yes is the answer, but yes because I offer more.
So then is the answer actually no?
The answer is actually no. I'm not taxing my weddings, but like my weddings offer more services than say high school event or whatever whatever other events that I'm doing.
So now we're going to go around and talk super short and then we'll get into real conversation. What are the differences that you do for a wedding that you do not do for a not wedding, Tony?
Not something that's not a wedding.
Correct.
I'm picturing anyway.
Not the knot or wedding wire. We're not going here today.
A not wedding.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No.
Something that's not a wedding. Essentially, everything is the same. I have my hourly rate for my videography, and I have an hourly rate for my editing.
Right.
And I estimate when I get a job how long I'm going to spend shooting and how long I'm going to spend editing. And then that's my price. I feel like my packages offer things for weddings that I don't necessarily do all the time for a documentary style wedding. Like some of my packages offer full ceremony coverage where I need to be for an hour recording everything that is happening from multiple angles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Price. That's obviously going to raise the price,
right,
other than me just being a fly on the wall watching what's happening.
Do you communicate differently?
Of course, yeah. So I communicate differently, and my packages are built differently. A lot of the times with weddings, we are working with people who have never and who will never hire a videographer again.
Very much.
And so when I'm building my packages, I'm building them based on how I feel most customers are coming across my desk. And so that helps the customer, but it's also, I guess at the end of the day, my answer was yes, but no.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Yes, but no.
Well, the way that I currently price things now, I have base pricing depending on size for all of my cakes, or by the item if it's individual items, and then everything gets a customization fee on top of that. And then there's also delivery and setup fees. And the customization fee is 100% where my discernment goes into every process or into every project.
Yeah.
And that has to cover my time, it has to cover all of my materials, it has to cover everything that goes into it, and it also has to account for the skills and knowledge and experience that I have. Some of the work that I do uses such complicated techniques and requires me to use a lot of different things that are very specialty that even if it's a simple design, my skill and knowledge is what is allowing me to do that. So when I'm taking on weddings versus when I'm taking on birthday cakes versus when I'm taking on whatever, the more stress, the more complicated, the more technical, the more important that event is, the more time I want to give myself and the more of a budget I want to give myself to be able to fully apply myself as an artist to that project. So I will add on more for like a painted cake than I would for maybe a birthday party, because I'm going to spend an extra 3 hours painting it.
And do people, I'm assuming, and correct me if this is totally wrong, it seems like just from what I see go across your feed that the really artistic skills and like the painting and the super intricate design work goes more, like wedding cakes do more of that than like a regular birthday cake does. Like it seems like birthday cakes are more like a couple figurines, and like Lambeth goes either way.
It really depends. Like, so the vintage style cake is a great example. You have a white cake with piping all around the cake, right? If I have someone who just wants a single tier birthday cake with the white piping, I'm probably not going to add anything onto that because it's literally put white buttercream in a bag. If I have a wedding cake and it's 3 tiers of white piping, yes, it's just buttercream in a bag, but the amount of technical skill and precision to be able to pull off that design in a larger scale, that it can stand out at room temperature for hours and hours on display and actually be photographable from every angle. The way that I approach that project, even though it's still technically white buttercream in a bag, very different. And I don't want my customers to have the opportunity to opt out of me being a better artist for them by taking a cheaper option, because it's my name on that project. So if budget's a concern, then yeah, we can definitely talk about budget, but I'm going to charge what I need to as a wedding because this is representing what I make for weddings.
You have a standard, and this is the standard, and this is what you get. You don't get bullshit standard.
My standard is different, and I do charge differently, not significantly, but I know that I don't want to take on as many orders if I have a huge wedding cake delivery. I don't want to have to pad my calendar. I want to be able to give more of myself in the time where I'm creating to that project. So I'm going to make sure that my time is covered so that I can do that.
That's interesting.
On average, weddings take 200 hours to plan.
That's a lot.
Social events take 20 to 60 hours.
That's a crazy statistic.
The emotional investment that go into weddings versus social events is substantially higher because of the emotional input.
I feel like there's this attitude from clients that we're constantly having to sort of push back against, which is the wedding tax is a way to rip people off.
Are there particular vendors that should or should not charge more for a wedding specifically? Are there particular vendors that it really doesn't matter? I would say maybe catering.
You know, I don't know the intimate details of what happens different for caterers for a birthday party or for a wedding.
Never been intimately detailed with a caterer.
That's not true. But
There's some tea!
I used to work for a catering company. What are you gonna do?
Okay, all right.
So hold on.
You don't know intimate details about catering companies.
But you worked for a caterer?
Yeah, but we did corporate events.
Okay.
I mean, we stood there and
You didn't do weddings.
yeah, it's
Okay.
like meatball and a toothpick style.
Speaking of meatballs on a toothpick, are you actually just making something higher because you can get away with it? Are you being that unscrupulous person?
Yes.
Or are you actually providing a different level of service? From the client side, if you're looking at this going, well, if you have separate pricing tiers and I want to pay the lower pricing tier, it's kind of on you to be transparent about that. Where's your budget at? And give me, the vendor, the opportunity to decide whether or not I'm able to meet your needs at your budget.
Right.
Being transparent. A lot of us are generally willing to work with folks and figure out how can I make this work. And if we're not able to do that, then we probably have a whole list of referrals we can send people off to.
If it doesn't fit, like if we can't come to a negotiation point that makes sense, that client was not meant for you. But that's okay. And that's okay.
Important to understand that, like, if you are being unscrupulous, if you are just imposing a wedding tax for no reason and you're not really doing anything better, you might not wind up with folks who have like a great impression of your business. When you act in shady ways, it kind of comes back on you.
I don't feel like you need to. I feel like if you're good at what you do and you're a professional, you know how much it costs and how much you need to charge. bada bing. If you are out here charging way more for something because you're trying to match somebody else's price, or you're trying to whatever, and you're trying to bake your way through that, your work will show that.
I would want to direct the just don't to the client and be like, just don't assume that everybody's out to scam you. If somebody's out to scam you, there's going to be other things about them and their negotiations that are scammy. Like, as a client, you need to be discerning also. Don't assume that we're all just trying to make an extra buck.
Yeah.
As a vendor, don't raise your price without being able to point out the differences in your price points and why you do something different and or better and or more for a wedding that validates the price difference.
Don't undersell your product, and don't let imposter syndrome cause you to underprice, or don't let other people's pricing objections. You need to be doing this from a place of math. The numbers need to make sense.
Stand on business. If somebody asks you why this event costs more than another event, or why this service costs more than another service, tell them why.
Have an answer ready.
And if they don't like the answer, that's not your money.
That's not your clients.
And in clients, ask vendors questions. Don't go into it blindly.
Have answers ready to roll.
I think the last note on this topic that is really, really important is that this idea, this really pervasive idea that vendors are trying to rip you off, and the wedding industry is full of all these unscrupulous businesses, and we have this like negative connotation of businesses. Most small business owners in the wedding and events industry are micro businesses with 1 to 20 employees max, and it is rare to find ones that have up to 20 employees. They are very, very, very small micro businesses. They are not people trying to rip you off. They are not big corporations stealing your money. It is literally a 1 or a 2-person show trying to keep the lights on. We're not ripping you off. We're just trying to make art.
We just want to pay the bills.